A first look now inside Alligator Alcatraz. Look at this video. Just opened today, a 3,000-bed federal prison in Florida. Again, now open as of today. Surrounding the prison, a moat full of alligators. There's one way in and no way out. Thanks for joining us today on Spin Room. I'm Vanessa Broussard. President Trump, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis toured Alligator Alcatraz. Today, it's in a remote area of the Everglades surrounded by marsh and alligators, and it will soon be home to illegal criminal aliens.
People don't have to come here. If they self-deport and go home, they can come back legally. We will let them come back legally.
And there is a lot of self-deportation.
Yes. But if you wait and we bring you to this facility, you don't ever get to come back to America. You don't get the chance to come back and be an American again and work here. So.
The facility will cost Florida around $450 million a year to run. A lot of those funds coming from FEMA. There's even merchandise being sold now. Alligator Alcatraz hats, shirts, koozies on the Florida State GOP website. And while there today, you're looking at video, you heard the round of applause. President Trump received word while he was there that the big, beautiful bill passed the Senate. Here's his reaction.
And just to be clear on the Medicaid cuts, you've promised not to cut Medicaid, said this is all just targeting waste, fraud, and abuse. Are you saying that the estimated 11.8 million people who could lose their health coverage, that is all waste, fraud, and abuse?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's going to be a very much smaller number than that, and that number will be waste, fraud, and abuse. And if you look, they took a much more liberal stance on the Medicaid situation than they could have. They had a tough stance and a weak stance. They took not a very strong stance on that to start off, and it's waste, fraud, and abuse, and everybody wants that covered.
What number is that? What analysis are you seeing?
I'm not seeing a number, but I know it's much less than the number you gave, and we really were very, very cognizant of three things. Social Security, we're going to take care of it beautifully. Medicare and Medicaid, and we are going to save it, whereas the Democrats are going to, you won't have it. They will destroy Medicare and Medicaid, and they have to because their numbers don't work. So it's not going to happen. They're the ones that have destroyed Medicare. They have made it so bad already, they're going to make it a lot worse. But now we'll be in charge, so we're going to have no problem with Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security.
With more on this big, beautiful bill, let's bring in Allison Steinberg, who is live in Washington, D.C. with the very latest. Hi, Allison. What's the latest you can tell us?
Hey, Vanessa. Yes, it's been a busy day here on the Hill. Of course, the big, beautiful bill passing by a very slim vote here. It was actually a 50-50 vote, and Vice President J.D. Vance had to come in and break that tie. So therefore, it was 51-50, very slim, narrow majority there. But basically, there was a record-setting 26-plus hour vote-a-rama, which is basically just deliberation back and forth, going over everything, making various amendments to the bill. And it was Senators Tom Tillis, Rand Paul, and Susan Collins. Those three Republicans were the three that were a no vote on the bill. Of course, every Democrat was a no vote on the bill. But like I said, it did pass thanks to Vice President J.D. Vance coming in to break that tie. Now we are in a place where the one big beautiful bill will move on from the Senate back to the House. And then the House has to vote once again to pass the bill in order for it to move on to the president's desk, where it is expected to meet the July 4th deadline. At this point in time, it sounds like things are moving along very nicely, much to my surprise. I thought this was going to be a lot more dragged out and much more of a delayed process, but it seems like things are moving along very well. The House did pass the bill, obviously, the first time around in another slim majority, but a big issue that many members of Congress, in fact, were concerned about was the artificial intelligence provision within the AI bill, or excuse me, within the One Big Beautiful bill. This was a provision that ultimately allowed for artificial intelligence to be unregulated in all 50 states for the next 10 years. As of yesterday, I was hearing this was going to be knocked down to unregulated AI in all 50 states for the next 5 years. But in an incredible turn of events, this provision of the bill was actually struck down in the Senate. So this was a major piece of the bill that concerned definitely a lot of America First freedom fighters, definitely a lot of the MAGA base of the Congress. So I fear the bill may not have passed back through the House if that provision was still there. Thankfully, like I said, it's been struck down and completely removed from the bill. So I think the bill should pass through the House once again with flying colors. And like I said, then it will be sent on to the president's desk to sign this bill into law, therefore restoring historic tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, more border security, and increased American energy. So it's sounding like all good things from here on out for the One Big Beautiful Bill.
Absolutely. And, you know, we just mentioned that President Trump, Allison, was in Florida today visiting and touring Alligator, Alcatraz, and he got the news while he was there that the Senate passed its version of the bill, and a round of applause could be heard. Of course, the media there asked him about the bill and what's in it, and Medicaid was brought up.
Yes, that's right. Medicaid has been a hot topic of discussion within the bill. Of course, the Democrats are going on fear-mongering, saying that this, the Medicaid cuts, as they're calling them, are going to, not allow people to get access to health care that they may need. They're saying that it's going to be, very detrimental to anyone who may be receiving Medicare benefits currently, but that is actually not true. I'm actually just looking through my notes here because I know Caroline Leavitt addressed this in the briefing yesterday. Let me just go to that here. She said that the bill actually protects Medicaid. So this is a big lie that's being pushed by the Democrats. She's saying that it actually, what it's going to do, the reforms to Medicaid, is that if you can work, if you're an able-bodied American citizen that can work 20 hours a week, then you're going to have to do so. You'll receive your benefits. It's going to ultimately strengthen the Medicaid program. But most importantly, the key here is that it's going to take away Medicaid from the 24 million illegal aliens that are currently receiving it. So millions and millions of people who were illegally let into the country under Joe Biden have been receiving these Medicaid benefits. That will be no longer so long as this bill passes through the House and is signed by the president. They will all be cut off from Medicaid health care, and hopefully will then just decide to self-deport, because there really won't be much of a reason for them to be here anymore if they're not receiving benefits. So hopefully that is more of an incentive, as we heard in that clip you played a moment ago. Kristi Noem and President Trump said there are record numbers of self-deportation, so hopefully that trend continues on.
Right, and speaking of the major Medicaid cutback, it includes stricter work requirements, like you just mentioned, Allison. So many people are abusing the system, as they do with a lot of other things, and so that's where the stricter cutbacks are coming in. They just want better work requirements for people who are on Medicaid to make sure that those people who are receiving it actually need it. Going through real quick for the people just following along, what's in the bill: the border wall funding, stricter immigration measures. Allison, they'll have defunding DEI programs. This is what we all voted for, right? Defunding DEI programs, religious liberty protection, of course, the tax cuts, child tax credit will be boosted. It's $2,500 per child through 2028, and then it drops down to $2,000 per child. However, Allison, it does raise the federal debt ceiling by $4 to $5 trillion. And so that's where this little rift is coming on and coming in with Elon Musk, because that's a concern for people like Elon, and they have been back at it today. Elon said it first, and then Trump responded, and so they've been having their back and forth. What can you tell us the latest about that?
Yes, that's right. Well, as you see on the screen here, this is what sort of reignited this fire between Elon Musk and President Trump. Elon stating, quote, "Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame, and they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on this earth." Of course, Musk also just, I believe the day before, called the Big Beautiful Bill an abomination and saying that, it's just going to continue adding to the debt. Now, President Trump responded to this, interestingly enough, saying that Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed President Trump for president, that he was strongly against the EV mandate. He said it's ridiculous and was always a major part of his campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. So I guess President Trump is pointing out the fact that Elon Musk may just be bitter because the big, beautiful bill perhaps negatively impacts him and his business endeavors, which I think there's probably some, legitimacy to that. Obviously, Elon Musk was, very outspoken in support of Trump. But then regarding this big, beautiful bill, it's been a bit of a disaster for quite some time now. He's been largely opposed to it. And, I get that. Elon Musk was brought in under Doge to head that up and get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse within the government. But as you touched on a moment ago, Vanessa, the bill does get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. And in fact, it actually, there's, kind of two different perspectives on this. It either adds to the deficit or it increases, economic growth. Ultimately, there's sort of one group of people saying that this would increase the deficit by upwards of $3 trillion. But the White House will tell you, and we heard this in the press briefing yesterday, that this is one of the most fiscally conservative pieces of legislation in history, really. There's $2 trillion in mandatory savings, and that's ultimately going to generate $4.1 trillion in economic growth. So ultimately, the intention of this big, beautiful bill is not to add to the deficit. The idea is that it's going to cut taxes to put more money back into the American people's pocket. So I think perhaps Elon Musk is maybe getting a little bit unnecessarily angry about this. I think the president ultimately has what's best for America in mind for all of us. I don't think that he's trying to, pull a fast one on us by any means. And I don't think that people really realize how detrimental it will be if this bill isn't passed. We currently are under the 2017 tax cuts from President Trump. If this bill doesn't pass, we are going to owe substantially more. So it would be horrible if this bill doesn't pass. I think it's ultimately for the good of the country. And I think Elon Musk is just causing a huge rift unnecessarily. And now Congressman Thomas Massie is joining in with Elon Musk. Musk saying that he's going to fund Massie in the future because Trump is threatening to primary him. So there's just a lot of drama in the swamp right now. I think we just need to remember President Trump truly has our best interest at heart. And we voted for Trump, not Elon Musk.
Yeah, and Allison, I want to like Elon so bad. And I do. I've been a fan of Elon's well before he endorsed President Trump on July 13th of last year after he was shot in Butler. But I'm starting to feel that he used Trump. And I was thinking on my drive in today, Allison, into work, I was thinking, if this was a front by Elon Musk, he deserves an Academy Award because he had his awful. He's a good actor. And so It makes me think he had some type of different motive this whole time when he was pretending to be Trump's new best friend and Uncle Elon and all the things, because he turned so fast on him. And I thought maybe, okay, they've wished each other well. Maybe there's going to be a type of reconciliation there. And then Elon does it again. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I just feel that, and when he comes out just this week and says, we should have another party, the America Party. And then people in the MAGA movement, Allison, don't take that lightly. And they respond to him saying, there is another party now. It's called MAGA. So Elon, I don't know. I don't know if he's, we like to say this in the South, too big for his britches now, where he hung out with Trump and he got a lot of accolades from the MAGA movement. But Allison, with the MAGA movement, you don't turn on Trump. And that's what he's doing over and over again. So I don't think this is going to be good for him in the long run.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see. I am hearing, Tesla stock is down, and it's certainly negatively impacting him for the time being. So he must really be a hardcore believer on his stance. I don't think he would, just totally demolish his reputation and all the good that he has done for the country if he didn't actually stand by this. Now, maybe there's something to it that we don't know. Elon Musk is obviously a genius, multi-billionaire. So I don't know, maybe there is some truth to some of what he's saying, but I also think President Trump knows what he's doing. I think we should trust Trump in this one. And I don't know, I just hate to see the division ultimately. It really makes me sad to know that we were so unified just, a matter of weeks ago, and now there's all of this back and forth and Twitter drama, X drama, if you will, people taking sides and whatnot. So I think we need to just, stay focused, keep our eye on the prize, and get united, because the Democrats don't do this stuff. Even though they are terrible people, they know how to stay united. So maybe we could take a note from them on that one.
You're absolutely right. They stick together no matter what, and President Trump is the president of peace. So hopefully we can get some peace within our party as well. One last thing before you go, Allison, any word on the House returning? I know the bill now returns to the House. It too remains split on votes, and once that's passed by the House, it gets to President Trump's desk, and he's hoping that's done by July 4th. So any word on if the House of Representatives have returned back to the Capitol yet, or they're making their way there? What are you hearing?
I believe they are making their way here, though I'm not 100% certain. I did just run into Congressman Tim Burchett here, who is ready to get back to voting. So I believe that will be underway in the very near future. I don't know exactly when that vote is set to take place, but I'm assuming because we are trying to meet that July 4th deadline, it'll be sooner rather than later, which would mean that Congress would need to re-adjourn since they haven't been here. They've been out while the Senate has been voting, but I believe they should be heading back shortly and hopefully moving forward on that vote in the very near future, again, to get that done by the July 4th deadline.
All right, Allison, so good to have you. Thanks for that report today.
Thanks so much, Vanessa.
Again, President Trump wanting this on his desk by July 4th. That's Friday, but a conference process could follow due to Senate amendments. Allison is there, and she'll definitely keep us posted on what's going on Capitol Hill. Border Czar Tom Homan, he reacted to how the deportation process will work when this bill passes both chambers. Take a listen.
When the big, beautiful bill does pass, how do you expect that to impact the number of deportations per day? Will it be twofold, threefold?
Vastly increased. Depends how quick we get more resources on, how quick we get the contractors on, how quick we bring the beds on. I mean, Governor DeSantis, I give him credit. We got the facility he's putting up in Florida. We'll be filling those beds as quick as we can because we need more beds. I mean, I looked at this morning, I think we got like 1,700 empty beds. We'll fill them in 2 days. So we need more beds. That bill is going to let us sign contracts that are pending for more beds. We don't have the funding to do it.
And let's take a look at how the markets are reacting to today's Senate passage. Looking at MarketWatch.com, the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ, always keeping a close eye on those, the top three. The Dow up 456 points right now, S&P 500 down 5 points, and NASDAQ is down 163 points. We will continue to monitor this as well, and the bill all week here on Lindell TV. President Trump will be heading to Iowa Thursday for a big rally, and we'll have that coverage for you right here on Lindell TV. The rally will kick off a series of rallies across the country for the president as we celebrate America's 250th birthday. He'll kick things off Thursday evening in Des Moines, Iowa. Full coverage, again, will be aired right here on Lindell TV. Again, that is Thursday evening. In today's Busted segment, we take you to North Carolina, where 28 illegal aliens have been arrested at an in-worksite enforcement operation. Aggravated identity theft and other federal crimes are suspected. 2 others were arrested on state charges, and numerous documents were seized in this ongoing investigation. Good job to our law enforcement officers. The Trump administration is protecting children as well from illegal aliens, child predators. Thousands remain missing from the Biden administration's open borders. And the fake news media, they aren't telling the truth about our missing children. Here's more from Caroline Levitt setting the record straight.
Article yesterday, and I was aghast at the headline. It's egregious to accuse this administration of trying to target foster children. That is not at all what is happening at the Department of Homeland Security. And I learned that the Department of Homeland Security actually tried to work in good faith with this reporter to get this story right, to explain that this administration is trying to protect foster children. We are trying to keep children out of harm's way, even if that means their parents are not law-abiding citizens. We want to protect children, unlike the previous administration, which allowed children to be trafficked, and raped, and in some cases killed because of the open border policies. Unfortunately, the Miami Herald just completely degraded themselves with this report, despite having a full list of facts from the Department of Homeland Security. It's another example of fake news. And the May border numbers speak for themselves. Not a single illegal alien was allowed into this country because of this administration's border policies in the month of May. That means not a single child was allowed into this country, possibly with human smugglers or human traffickers. And we know that was happening at the rate of thousands and thousands of children every single month in the previous administration for 4 years. And you didn't see any reporting of that from the Miami Herald, but now they're trying to accuse this administration. And we tried to give them the facts and they refused to report them. So
again, 300,000 children lost under the previous administration, trafficked, exploited. This administration doing what it can to ensure our innocent babies are safe. And we have more to talk about here on Spin Room when we come back. Louisiana has changes coming to its school cafeterias next year. We'll take you to the Bayou State when we come back. Stay with us.
Swollen limbs, joint pain, inflammation, skin aging, and cognitive decline. These are just a few of the awful side effects that you can experience due to poor blood circulation. And popping ibuprofen is not a solution to the pain. It's only temporary relief, and it's only masking the true problem, which is inflammation. Researchers are saying to add this Antarctic super nutrient to your diet. I'm talking about omega-3 fatty acids, but not just any form of omegas. These particular omega-3 fatty acids are sourced from wild-caught krill. Has been shown to support healthy blood pressure, circulation, brain health, as well as reduce inflammation, swelling, and joint pain. For a limited time, you can grab Native Path Antarctic Krill Oil for up to 66% off plus free shipping. Just go to getkrill.com/Lindell right now to get your special offer. If you want to feel and look your best, you need to check out Pure Health Research. They have 45 premium health supplements that are designed to help you with everyday health goals. Whether it's boosting your energy or trimming belly fat, supporting healthy blood sugar, pumping your testosterone up, or even reducing swelling in your legs, Pure Health Research Supplement Store has you covered. Each formula is crafted with natural, non-GMO ingredients, backed by clinical research and manufactured right here in the USA. And here's the best part. Pure Health Research is offering you an exclusive 35% discount. Just go to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. With their 365-day money-back guarantee, there's nothing to lose. So head over to purehealthresearch.com now, explore their 45 amazing supplements, and save 35% before this deal ends with promo code Lindell.
Louisiana parents have a lot to smile about as we start thinking about next school year. In our Maha Mom segment, I want to tell you about Governor Jeff Landry and Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. signing a Maha bill into law, which includes restrictions on artificial food dyes and preservatives in school meals, mandates that physicians and physicians' assistants complete continuing medical education, which is CME, in nutrition and metabolic health. It also requires restaurants to disclose the use of seed oils and requires QR code labeling from food manufacturers, alerting consumers to specific ingredients if it's present. The state of Louisiana says that making America healthy again is not just a slogan, it's a movement. And they say that Louisiana is proud to be leading the way. Now to today's Bible verse for the day. It comes from the book of Acts. Taking a look at the verse right now, if we could pull that up. And it says this, "And when they had prayed, the place where they had gathered together was shaken, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak the word of God with boldness." Again, that's Acts chapter 4, verse 31. We want to remind you as we close out the show to help support Mike Lindell. You can go to mypillowtrial.com. He is in an appeals process that's just getting underway. He needs your support. So if you can help him defeat the deep state, every dollar helps. $1, $5, $10 or more. Help support Mike Lindell. He is doing so much for this country. It's the least that we can do. It's just take a little bit of extra cash we may have sitting around and donating it to Mike to help in his fight. You can also go to mypillow.com. Of course, there's so many sales going on there. Use the promo code Vanessa for extra savings. So many USA products and entrepreneurs on mystore.com too. There's a link off MyPillow. You can go to mystore.com. There we are now on YouTube. You can go subscribe to our channel. Help us get our numbers up there on YouTube. If you miss a broadcast, that's okay. We will have it there on YouTube for us, or for you that is. So make sure you're following us there. We're on X. We're on Vocal, that's Mike Lindell's media platform, social media platform, Vocal, V-O-C-L. So make sure you are following us there as well. So many different ways to follow us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, X. You can follow us there, Vocal, and Facebook, Instagram, Truth Social as well. And if you're on Truth Social, make sure you're following us on Truth Social Plus. And that'll do it for us today here on Spin Room. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us at the top of the hour for the Mike Lindell Show. In the meantime, His Glory is next, and you're watching Lindell TV.
From Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com.
Friends, we all know the truth. Big Pharma and the federal bureaucracy have made a mess of healthcare in this country, and boy, that's an understatement.